one time, Matejki Square was connected to Rynek Kleparski. In the year 1879, the Academy of Fine Arts was built and separated the square into two. Rynek Kleparski and the place we're standing in now, Matejki Square. The square is named after the Academy of Fine Arts' most famous student, Jan Matejko. Matejko is probably Poland's most famous painter. He is famous for painting the most significant scenes of Polish history. His goal was to revive patriotism in the Polish nation, which at the time was under foreign occupation. Behind me is the Grunwald Monument, which was revealed in the year 1910. The monument was erected because of the 500th anniversary of the victory over the Teutonic Knights at the Battle of the Grunwald. When kings visited Krakow from the north, this is the route they would take as they entered the city, through the Barbican and the St. Florian's Gate, which is going to be our next stop.
In front of me is the Barbican, a fortified outpost once connected to the city walls. A Barbican is a fortified outpost or gateway, such as an outer defenses to a city or castle or any tower situated over a gate or bridge, which was used for defense purposes. Usually, Barbicans were situated outside the main line of defense and connected to the city walls with a walled road called the neck. In the 15th century, with the improvement in siege tactics and artillery, Barbicans lost their significance. In front of the Barbican is the St. Florian's Gate. It is one of the best known Polish Gothic towers. The tower was first mentioned in 1307. It had been built as part of a protective rampart around Krakow after the Tatar attack of 1241. The permit for the construction of the new city defensive featuring this tower was given in 1285 by Leszek II the Black. The gate was once the main gate leading to the city center. Behind the gate we have Florianska Street, which leads to the Rynek Główny.
The Planty is a park, but it hasn't always been that way. In the medieval ages, the Planty was a moat and a wall. The wall and the moat were protecting the castle and the old town. The Planty was finished in 1830, but under the citizens of Krakow, under decree of ruler of the Austrian and Hungarian Empire, who decided to tear down the now useless wall. The moat, which once was part of the walls, were filled in, and the trees were planted. Today, the park provides fresh air and a place to sit down on a bench and relax. The shape of the park is a ring around the old town, accompanied by the ring of road. Similar to the one in Vienna, in the park, you can also see statues of famous Poles such as Nicholas Cumbers and Jan Matejki.
Historically, Rynek Główny was used for selling or buying things. The Rynek is located at the intersection of two historical trading routes. Therefore, any traders coming through the area had to stop and sell their goods here. Before shopping malls, this is where Krakowians will come to do their shopping here. This is the largest medieval square in Europe, measuring approximately 200 by 200 meters. It was laid out when the city received its character in year 1257. One legend that takes place in Krakow Square is the one about the pigeons. The legend says that they were actually knights of Prince Henry IV, cursed to be pigeons for the rest of their life. This explains the affinity that Krakowians have for their pigeons. Today, the Rynek is the most central and focal point in Krakow. Surrounded by cafes and shops, it is one of the main tourist attractions in the city.
Behind me is the famous St. Mary's Church. It was founded by the Bishop of Krakow in the years 1221-1222. In the years 1290, 1300, a new early Gothic church was erected on the early foundations, complete in 1320. Legend has in the Mongols tried to attack Krakow because of its wealth and status. However, a century of north tower of the church sounded the alarm by playing the Heinal on a trumpet. Because of the city gates were closed before the Mongols clouds ambushed the city. The trumpeter, however, was shot in the throat and did not complete a full melody. For this reason, every same Heinal began, played and stopped at the same note in honor of the century who saved Krakow. Today, St. Mary is the famous place in Krakow to sightist. It's also still used as a place of worship by Krakowians. Many messages of national importance are given here.
Now we are in Sukienice, in English called Cloth Hall. It was once a central of international trade. Now it is one of the central features of the main market square. Traveling merchants meet there to discuss business and to barter. The Sukienice gained symbolic significance. The ball and receptions held there in honor of prominent persons visiting the city. And celebration of numerous patriotic events made Sukienice a truly important place for the national culture. It was built in the 14th century. The name of the architect is Tomasz Prylinski. It is one of the most characteristic monuments of Krakow. Some famous people visited, like Charles, Prince of Wales, and Emperor Akito of Japan, who was welcomed in 2002. On the shorter axis of the building, you will notice a big iron knife. Legend has it that one of the two brothers who built Santa Mary's Church, when realizing that tower built by his brother was taller than his, he killed him with his knife. Eventually, remorse forced him to commit suicide by jumping from his tower. The martyr's knife hangs in the gate of the Cloth Hall in the main square to this day to remind us of these tragic events.
At just over 1,000 kilometers long, the Vistula River cuts right through the heart of the Polish nation. For the Poles, the Vistula is a special river. Several of Poland's major cities lie on the river, including the capital city Warsaw, as well as Krakow, the former capital. At one time, the Vistula was a hub for shipping and trade. Grain merchants would send grain to the Baltic seaport of Gdańsk and then send it to Britain and off to the Netherlands. Located next to the river is the famed Wawel Hill, which you can see behind me, with the castle perched on top. This is a fortified architectural complex erected over many centuries, atop a limestone outcrop on the left bank of the Vistula River in Krakow, at an altitude of 228 meters above sea level. The complex consists of many buildings and fortifications. The largest and best known of these is of course the Royal Castle and the Wawel Cathedral, which you will hear more about a bit later. Some of Wawel's oldest stone buildings, such as the Rotunda of the Virgin Mary, can be dated to as far back as 970 AD. There are also wooden parts of the complex which date to about the 9th century. The castle itself has been described as one of the most fascinating of all European castles. Today, the courtyard of the castle can be visited free of charge. Krakowians enjoy watching the sunset from the castle and also like to spend time on the green space around the castle.
We are now on the courtyard of one of the most important monuments of Polish history, the Wawel Castle. Once the seat of the legendary Vistulan rulers Krak and Wanda, it became the part of the Polish territory in the 10th century and its capital in the 11th. This was the traditional place for king's crowning ceremonies as well as a burial place for the kings and one of the most prominent people in Polish history. The complex fell on hard times after King Sigmund III decided to move the capital to Warsaw and was ravaged by fires and occupational forces. Many of the national treasures stored here were lost and never returned to Poland. Fortunately, Franz Joseph I, Emperor of Austria, gave his permission in 1880 to restore the hill to its original shape. Today, it's a major tourist attraction, offering a tour of the reconstructed royal chambers, where among many exhibits you can see the famous collection of tapestries gathered by King Zygmunt August. In the cathedral you can admire the gravestones of Polish kings as well as the, surrounded by legend and folklore, Zygmunt's Bell. And just under the hill is the legendary Dragon Grotto. Let's head there right now.
Legend has it that in the times of Krak, a dragon decided to make the grotto under the Wawel hill his lair, from which it terrorized the city. The spirit king offered the hand of his daughter to the person who would kill the beast. Luck had it that a smart boy, known as Scuba the cobbler, using his wits, managed to trick the dragon and kill it. From that time onward, the famed Wawel dragon was one of Krakow's symbols and its mascot.